Speaking of embarrassing yourself and other people seeing it, cosplay and TikTok.
Yes,
What are your thoughts on the platform, the growth of TikTok itself, and how cosplay has been playing a huge part in it?
I will say I still don't fully get TikTok. I think I'm just a little bit too old. Um, it is such a new platform, and I've seen some incredible creators, and I have to say it is addictive. I've just gone on to like a friend's post and found 3 hours have gone by, and I've just been watching videos. So it is incredibly addictive and an incredible way to waste time, and it can be absolutely amazing. I don't post on there so often. I don't do so well on there. I have had a couple of good hits, but it can be a phenomenal one. And I think sometimes some of the best things I've watched are people taking the mick out of themselves. But I think you also have to be very careful with that. You have to be very careful with everything that you put on the internet because it's there forever. Even if you delete it, it is there forever. So I do worry about some of the youngsters who are coming in and they're going on TikTok and they're trying to make a name for themselves, exactly what they're putting on there. And that's the same with any platform. It's just that this it seems to be quite the hot one. Um,
Thank you for mentioning that, by the way.
it's yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I was one of the first generations that grew up with social media with MySpace, and I imagine you were probably the same. We look a similar age,
Yeah.
and I had to. It was new for everybody. I had to learn as a kid, turning into an adult, about how to use the internet. My parents had to suddenly learn how to parent with the internet. You know, there were so many ways that you could harm yourself or harm others simply with a click of a button. And some of these trolls out there don't realize, or at least I like to think that they don't realize, because if they realize and they're doing it on purpose, and they are extremely horrible human beings. But a comment can be very, very destructive. I mean, I've had times where I've had people comment. I usually get a lot of body shamers, um, and they've caught me on a bad day, and I found myself not wanting to eat and wanting to go to the gym and work myself until I am physically exhausted because somebody has said something to me that has upset me so much that it's actually physically affected my mental health. And I think for a lot of young people out there, they don't necessarily understand that what you see on social media isn't real. It is an aspect of a very small aspect of someone's life for a moment. And a lot of it is fake, a lot of it is not real. So no matter how much successful somebody and happy somebody looks, and you try to live their lifestyle, they're probably struggling to live up to their own hype. They probably can't maintain that image. And particularly these days, you can rent a life so easily. You can rent a house and go, this is my house. You can rent a car, you can rent an outfit and say, this is my life, this is every day. But
It's
it's
true.
not.
I'm in that business. It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Um, and
You wouldn't
you,
believe how many people that, sorry to interrupt you,
yeah,
but you wouldn't believe how many people have an incredible following on social media, and people are coming to their page because of what they have or what they're perceived to have. But
mm,
in real life, that's a content house. Before being announced to the world, it's a content house, and they
mm,
have use for of that house 2 or 3 times a week. So they'll make content and they'll be switching out
yeah,
clothing to make that sort of content, and they're
mm,
projecting as if that is their home. Which again, there's nothing wrong with doing that, but at the same time, when you're pretending that is something that you own and you're trying to show that to others as a means of saying, this is what I have, it's something that you don't have, but you like the fact that I have it,
mm,
so come towards me. That's fake. That's fake, and
mm,
it's so obvious. And working behind the scenes and seeing that, it's frustrating because you see so many kids, or even like newer creators, feel so insecure about the fact that they can't compete with what they see. But
mm.
little do they know what they see has how many veils in front of it.
Yeah, I mean, I am a victim of it myself. If I have a low self-esteem day, I like to think I've got of my demons, and they're all in little boxes. And every so often, my little demons escape from their cages and it will latch on to something. And I will look at a big name cosplayer and I'll look at their following, I'll look at their costume, I'll look at their body, I look how amazing they are and how polished everything is. And I'll sit there and think, I don't have that. What am I missing? What's wrong with me? I do it. Everybody does. And I have to try and grab that little demon and put him back in his box and say, this cosplayer does this for a living. They have this many advantages to them that I don't have. They have an at-home gym. They have sponsorships. They have rented, like you say, a house, a studio. They have, they're doing it as a business a lot of the time, if you look at some of the top cosplayers. And so part of it is acting. And they have some of them have things that I don't have and advantages that I don't have access to. But a lot of it isn't real. They just think it's real. And again, I have a big thing about people who have had plastic surgeries and things like that. I have no problem with people having plastic surgeries. What I have a problem with is somebody having plastic surgery and saying, I'm all natural.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that has actually, I can see it causing body dysmorphia in people because they go, well, I want boobs that big and I don't have them. I want a waist that small. I want a nose that cute. And it's some people are just physically born with those things. But some people have paid for them and there's no way to, there's no workout, there's no diet, there is no nothing that can get you that shape without surgical intervention. And so people are working their ass off and hurting themselves to achieve something they physically can't achieve. And I'm not okay with people doing that. If you have plastic surgery, like I say, I'm fine with that. I have no problem with it. Don't get me wrong. If somebody said to me, here's all the money when the best blessed like plastic surgeon in the world to fix every problem you ever had with your body, yeah, I'd take it up. And you don't even have to advertise that you've had work done. But if someone asks you, have you had work done? Don't sit there and go, no, I haven't. This is all natural. Just be honest. There's no shame in it. There's nothing wrong with it. And in fact, I'd rather that and go, oh, okay, so no matter how many squats I do, I'm not going to get an ass like that.
Yeah.
So that's okay. I can forgive myself for not having an ass like that because that's not physically achievable. So I think there's a lot of people who need to understand that, again, what you see in a moment is just a moment. It's not real. It is fantasy, and they are supplying you with a fantasy. The actuality of what happens after that camera has finished clicking or someone says cut is very, very different to those 3 seconds you get to view. Again, a lot of people have to sacrifice a lot of things to achieve their goals. And they're happy to do that. And, it is rewarded, but sometimes sacrifices aren't always rewarded. And it's okay. It's okay not to be amazing at everything. I have to remind myself of that. I'm like the worst hypocrite because I say this to people and then I'll go home and I'm like, I'm not good enough. And then I'm like, get over yourself, get on with it. You do what you do and people love it and you love it. And that's the most important thing. So I think it's incredibly important that creators out there and new creators out there understand that you can't and you shouldn't try and compete with people as hard as it is. There are a lot of people out there that need to understand that you can't compete and you shouldn't compete with some of the great people. They have a lot of stuff and access to stuff that you don't have, and that's fine. It doesn't make you less of a person or less of a creator. In fact, sometimes I love an underdog. I love somebody who has a shoestring budget and has absolutely no financial backing or support from anybody else, and then they create something out of a cardboard box and it's fantastic. I'm like, I'm more impressed by that rather than people who have got a whole camera set behind them. I love a good underdog. And don't base your whole self-esteem on likes and what strangers think of you. And that is an incredibly hard lesson to learn. And I think it's something that I will still continue to learn throughout my life. For your own mental health, you have to accept your limits. You have to accept that, there's a 1% for a reason. And what you see in a second is only a second, and it's not real. And I really appreciate creators out there who show this is my beach body, and they're all tense and tone and beautiful and go, this is what I actually look like. And they relax and they're just a normal human being. I really appreciate people out there who show the reality of what life is actually like. And they're not, to encourage people not to try and strive for something that is completely unattainable, and not being perfect is okay.